Hello, and welcome back to the Reactivist Podcast. I'm Marlena Shibo. True or false? People who make $20 an hour make a six-figure salary. Obviously, the answer is false, although that answer wasn't so obvious to Fox News host Jesse Waters. In a recent interview that Jesse Waters did for the PBD podcast, he posed the question, and he meant it. The host of the podcast came back and said, no, that would be somewhere around $40,000 a year. He then doubled down and said, well, if it's a two-income household and both people are making $20 an hour, that would be six figures, wouldn't it? The answer is still no. Even rounding up, 40 plus 40 would be 80. 80,000 is not six figures. And the point he was trying to make was that people who work at places like McDonald's and other fast food establishments shouldn't be making that much money because it doesn't require much. It does require math, right? So if you work in a place like, say, a drive-through, or even if you're at the register, it does require basic math. So it requires that much. So I don't think that Jesse Waters would be qualified to work there. Doesn't sound like he wants to, so win-win. But newsflash, the minimum wage is not $20 an hour. Well, it is for the state of California, who recently raised the minimum wage, but everywhere else, it varies from state to state. It's not exactly someone's dream job to work in the fast food industry. It's more of a necessity. People need money to live and pay their bills. So regardless of the quote-unquote skills required, it's still a job that someone has to do, and it's not the most desirable job. So paying them a humane paycheck doesn't seem like the worst thing to do for these people. I mean, Jesse Waters makes like millions of dollars a year. Millions of dollars a year. So what does he care? He's saying it's inflating the entire job sector. Even if his math was correct, anybody who makes millions upon millions of dollars a year should not be complaining about people who make $20 an hour. That's just basic human decency, right? It's just insulting to people who can't make as much money as Jesse Waters. Would you rather have somebody sitting at home living off of your taxes, or would you rather have somebody in a job that, quote, doesn't require much, who's working for the money that they're living off of? Okay, so don't worry if it's six figures, which it's not. We've all decided and know for a fact that it's not. It's super basic math, but okay, so it's not six figures, but it's more than you want them to earn. There's room for everybody to make money, isn't there? Jesse Waters got a job at Fox News right out of college. I know this because I hired him. There were resumes that came across my desk that used to have three little letters at the top, and those three letters were FOR. And what did that stand for? Friend of Roger. So whenever I would see FOR on the top of a resume, this meant this person had to be interviewed. And this isn't new. People get jobs all the time by knowing somebody who knows somebody. In this case, that somebody was Roger Ailes, who just so happened to be the CEO of Fox News at the time. Jesse was hired. And to his merit, once Jesse started working at Fox, he worked tirelessly and made his way to the position he's in now, which is great. Congrats, Jesse. Nobody's begrudging you your success, certainly, least of all people, me. I think it's fantastic that you got to where you are. But some people just don't have that head start in life, right? So I understand that you're saying this disrupts and inflates the employment sector, and this is somehow a problem, not for you. When people walk into a place like McDonald's, there's an application on the table. I don't think there's three letters at the top saying who this person knows who got them in the door at a minimum wage job. Not like Jesse Waters, who had some connection, whether it loose or otherwise, to Roger Ailes. Not everybody has that privilege, Jesse. Not everybody has that advantage in life. So to begrudge somebody who may not have a college education, or somebody who can't afford college or doesn't have somebody else paying to send them to college and needs to pay the tuition, needs to supplement part of the tuition with money, outside of whatever loans they might need. Working for $20 an hour definitely helps. I mean, my other argument is I hate fast food. I wish it didn't exist at all. I would love for there to be healthy fast food, a healthy fast food industry. That would be great. Let's talk about that instead of what people at McDonald's are making. And I can guarantee if you had a fast food restaurant that served healthy food and organic food, I have a feeling that the minimum wage would go up even more because of the cost of healthy food. I mean, it's a sick cycle that we have in this country, right? The cheapest food is the most available, it's the most affordable, right? Everyone says they're not going to take their kids to McDonald's, but you know what? That Happy Meal sneaks in from time to time. It is what it is. It gets us all at some point. When your kids are born, you're like, no, they're going to eat fresh vegetables and farm to table. And then you're busy and you're running around and they see like a gazillion ads for McDonald's and Happy Meals and the toys that come in the Happy Meals on their iPads or while they're watching TV. And they say, Mommy, I want a Happy Meal. Right? And then you say, no, it's not good for you. It's not good for you. And then they go to the grandparents and say, I want a Happy Meal. Right? And eventually all kids get a Happy Meal, no matter what the reason is. And if you're one of the people who say, nope, not my kid, never. Okay. Mazel. And those people who say things like that, you're not getting a Nobel Prize for not giving your kid a Happy Meal. So sit down. Okay. Calm down, simmer down. But for the rest of us, we have given in to the Happy Meals and whatever else. And who's handing us the Happy Meals? The people who have the jobs, right? The quote, easier jobs are the most available and the most accessible to people who don't have 3 letters at the top of their portfolio coming out of college, prior to that coming out of a private school. Everybody has their station in life. Everybody has their station in life. And some people's station in life is better than others, right? So just be happy that somebody was a friend of Roger's, Jesse, because your life is coming up roses. Except for the fact that you don't know math. So maybe you should brush up on that. I know you have kids. They might need help with their math homework someday, and you want to be the person to maybe help them. I'm not saying I'm a mathlete, but I know what 40,000 plus 40,000 equals. I do. Genius. People fall on hard times for whatever reason. And sometimes people fall on really hard times. And knock on wood, some of us aren't those people. But we, parents, have another generation behind us. And we can prepare and we can prepare and we can prepare as much as humanly possible to help our kids thrive in the future. But you just never know what the future holds. And you never know what your future holds. And what if you're not here to make sure everything goes swimmingly? You just never know what could sweep through your life that might turn it on its head, right? Maybe a bad contract, or someone has another issue that's blowing through a whole lot of money, maybe another divorce where you didn't sign all the right things and you get taken for a lot of money and money's taken out of your kids' pockets. And this is so unlikely, but never say never. One of your kids needs to work at McDonald's because, the well ran dry. How much you want your kid to make? Think about that. Don't ever think you're better than the other just because your life is going well. You should feel gratified in knowing that you're not in the position to have to work at a place that pays $20 an hour. I'm glad I don't have to work at a place that pays $20 an hour. I mean, why should you be able to pay your bills, but these people can't pay their bills? It's great that they have those jobs, right? We need a healthy job market, and we need people to take all different types of jobs, right? I think people who get up and go to work should be praised for getting up and going to work, whatever the job may be. Might be the easiest job, might be the hardest job, might be a job that quote unquote doesn't require much, but at least they're working, they're contributing, and they're earning something in order to pay for whatever it is they need to pay for, and not just sitting at home living off of my tax dollars. At least they're doing a service and getting paid for it. It's that simple. Not everybody that works in the fast food industry is making $20 an hour because it's not a real number. It's not a real number depending on where you live. So the $20 an hour in California shouldn't keep you up at night. The irony here is that Jesse was on the podcast promoting a new book called Get It Together. So get it together, Jesse, or get a calculator, or phone a friend, any friend, perhaps even a friend of Roger's.